All right. Welcome, everyone. This is Akasha with Bliss Life Podcast, and I'm so excited to bring you another beautiful, beautiful, and amazing speaker, someone I've known for a few years now. We've done some other collaborative things together like this, and I think that she's going to delight and inspire you. And this is our energy medicine series. So I want to bring you more information about the wide variety of energy modalities that there are, and some of the things you may not even think of as energy medicine actually is, because we're all energy, everything is energy. And when you can find a tool that shifts your mood, your state, and raises you out of negativity, stress, or fear, we know that your energy within is rising to levels that can help your immune system, that can help your happiness, that can help your life in general. So today we've got Cathy here, and thank you so much for being here, Cathy.
Oh, Nan, thank you for having me. And what a wonderful introduction. And you're absolutely right. We're surrounded by energy, and energy keeps us moving, keeps our vibes, keeps us out of the muck, or sometimes, if we're not careful, we can go below. I am thrilled to be on this mission and journey with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so excited. So today, Cathy's going to share how to manage your mind in times of stress, how to actually do this. And I'm going to share a little bit about Cathy, but she's going to fill you in because she has a very long background of certifications and clinical background and work with children and with people and licensed therapy and all kinds of things like that. And she is a life wellness and mind shift coach. And she has a master's in behavioral counseling, a certified wellness and clinical hypnotherapy, hypnotherapist like I am. And she combines all of these things in a coaching setting. So this is something that you don't feel like you're going to a doctor. You don't feel like you're being limited by a particular path, right? A particular arena. And what I love about Cathy is that she explores. She's had summits. What is it? It's called the Unleash Your Potential Summits, where she's interviewed the most amazing healers and doctors that are on the forefront of natural health and different ways of managing your life, managing stress, and increasing that possibility. She also has a Facebook page called the Dream Life Tribe. And don't worry, we're going to make sure that both in the emails and here, the video and the audio, you're going to have access to where you can find her, to all of her goodies she has for you, as well as her Facebook page as well. So Cathy, why don't you go ahead and share with us a little bit about how your journey through all your different jobs and your personal life have brought you to this place where you really feel like this ability to raise yourself out of stress into confidence and joy can change your life as well as your health.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nan. I have always been a problem solver. No matter what I was doing, I was always trying to find solutions, either for people or for myself or for whatever was in front of me. So that's just been a given. But a while back, I would say about 20 years ago, I was gone back to the university to finish my accounting degree because I never had gotten my bachelor's degree, and I was really good at accounting, problem solving details. And while I was there, I found myself in the middle of going through a divorce with 2 young children, and that was a pivotal moment for me. I began thinking about how people came to me for advice all the time, and I thought, well, if I go through this divorce and want another relationship, I don't want the same things. I need to learn about myself and change, which is not a reason to go into counseling, but that was one of my reasonings. So I flip-flopped out of accounting and business and ended up with a master's in behavioral counseling. And about a year and a half later, I became state licensed with my professional counseling. And I've done that for the past 2 decades. I've worked with adults, children, couples, and families. So I've had a wide variety of experience. But what I have found is in counseling, I felt like I was limited. I felt like I was driven by the diagnoses that somebody is given, either through me or through a psychiatrist. And I could do more because, again, I want to solve problems or help people find the key to whatever they're looking for. And I could do more with coaching. It was more solution focused. So the last 2 to 4 years, I've been doing more coaching, and I'm now in the coaching arena and absolutely love it. I work with adults, I work with parents, and I work with couples. Anybody who brings the issue to me, together, we work together to help them uncover or unleash their potentials on whatever this is. And then so that they can be the best version of themselves in that given moment in time. So,
Tell us a little bit about the ability to manage your mind. Like who do you have to be? I know that I used to many years ago, before I got into hypnotherapy, as you're a hypnotherapist as well, and all of these things, I just felt like my moods had a mind of their own. I had no control over how I felt or what I thought, that I was just buffeted about by what was happening in the world, like right now, that I wasn't the one in the driver's seat at all. And now, after decades of doing this work and understanding hypnosis and how it all works, it's fascinating to actually realize that you can manage your mind and you can learn to walk through stressful times. Even though stuff's happening around you, you can actually alter your state and manage that. Tell us a little bit about that.
yes, absolutely. Nan, it can be really, really simple. But for someone who does not know how to do that, it's challenging. And I've been there. I'm sure you've been there. You know, my family members have been there. So what I like to do is to keep it simple. And I have something I call 10 essential tools to engage in a daily basis to help you stay upbeat, to keep that higher vibrational energy level up. And these strategies help you maintain that higher energy vibrational level, and along with keeping you more optimistic and focused. And it's not so that you will discount that there's, let me put it to you this way. We all face, every day we face pros and cons. And we're not discounting the cons that come into our life, but we're learning how to manage them and manage how we deal with this. And by putting these tools into a daily practice, I call them mindless habits. When they become daily practice and you just do them every day, that's a mindless habit, which is we're all made up of habits. We do habits every day, and some are good for us and some are not so good for us. And if you put in the positive mindless habits, you're able to keep your vibrational energy level high and able to stay more focused on what's working instead of what's not working. Because it's easy to get caught up, especially right now with the news. They have this crazy headline of just like, oh my gosh, everybody, 50% of the people are going to get COVID-19. And then you read that and you go, oh my gosh, we're all going to get COVID-19. It's so easy to do. Then you got to take that apart and go, wait a minute, that may be happening, but I don't have to live like that. So what I've devised is 10 essential tools. It's a pocket guide that people will be able to get later on. We'll discuss this as a gift. And I picked out 3 that I'd like to share with your audience today because I think it's something simple that they can implement. And will this automatically shift their mind every single day? No, probably not. They have to practice at this. And then it'll make it easier and easier for them to shift out of the muck. So the first one is movement and exercise. Our bodies are made to move. And when we have good movement and exercise going on, it helps keep our bodies, mind and body healthy and fit. And it also elevates our mood. When we're exercising or doing movement, we're increasing those endorphins, which are those feel-good neurotransmitters. And so that keeps us out of the muck. So more, I highly suggest, that's why it's number 1 on my list today, because it's easy to do and it can automatically get us out of a negative, stressful state.
And I think it's important to note that right now when we're doing this, we're all sheltering or locked in or locked down or however you want to put it. And a lot of people are having a challenge with that. Maybe they go running, maybe they go to the gym, maybe they do things that are outside and active, but you can still do it at home, even if you're in a small space, and making sure that's part of your day, because you can get very sedentary, right? Staying at home, watching TV, watching walking to the kitchen and back, and just becoming like that. But if you have stairs, if you do stretching, you do yoga, my gosh, they have the most amazing videos on YouTube with every kind of exercise or stretching that you can do. And I think it's important to remember how simple this is. Don't discount the power of it.
I
Right?
love that, man. Uh, yeah, I broke it down into 3 parts because some people have an aversion when they hear the word exercise and they just don't want to do it at all. So I wanted to state that if you're one of those that do not have that aversion, if you're the exercise enthusiast and you brought something that you can do at home, that's great. This isn't primarily for you at the moment. This is for the other people who don't want to do movement or exercise. And I like what Nan said. You can do yoga, Pilates, find something that's fun that you like to do, and martial arts, maybe dance, Zumba. You can find a YouTube video and do that in your own living room right now. If you can go outside and you're a nature lover, you can do walking, hiking, biking. You can do several things by yourself or with family and keep people at a distance. That's easy to do. Now, if need, that's in the area of movement for those who enjoy those things, but there's still those people that don't want to do anything, that don't enjoy to move. And research has shown that we need to get up and move around about every hour to 2 hours. It's not good for our hearts. And so if you're one of the ones who don't want to move, I like what Nan suggested. If you've got stairs, run up and down the stairs about every hour to 2 hours, do 5 to 15 minutes of something. If you don't want to do that, I suggest stretching to the side, maybe twisting, turning, bending, but just get up and move around. And you'd be amazed at how those endorphins can quickly enter your mind and elevate your mood. And then, Nan, some of the families have come to me and asked me, well, what do we do? We've got young kids at home and it's pretty challenging to have us go do a routine and have them with us. So I came up with something called the Creative Family Fun Routine. They have just have a meeting with your children, and everybody gets to add some type of movement or exercise to this routine that's going to be put together as a whole. And then you want to make it fun. You put it together, and however you do this is fine. Maybe add some dancing, maybe add some music, but make it fun and silly so that you have some laughter going on. And then do this together with your family it should last about 20 to 30 minutes. And then another point to make with kids at home is they need consistency and structure. So maybe do this about the same time every day so they have something to look forward to. They know they're going to get up and move around and act silly and laugh and stretch with mom and dad. How fun is that? So, and with that one said, that's the first tool is movement and exercise. It leads us into the second tool, which is laughter and fun. The old adage that laughter is the best medicine, research has shown is actually true. Laughter helps reduce tension, stress, combat pain, combat depression, and then on the other side of that, Nan, it increases our immunity and our resilience. So even though we're in a very stressful time, try to make time to find fun. You can overlap it with the movement exercise we just suggested, or maybe some hobbies. For most of us, we're so busy working that maybe we've forgotten about some hobbies that we really cared for. Maybe you like to do artwork, crafting, some things like maybe even reading a good book could be something that you find fun and enjoyable. If you've got family at home, I love doing board games with children. That is just so fun to do. Plus, besides the board game, you're teaching them so many skills and you're interacting and engaging with your family, which is a big blessing these days. And then you can make up games, you can do a treasure hunt, you can find, just get some of the kids toys that they haven't played with in a while and hide them and let them go find them. That's a lot of fun. And then, of course, you can always do fun movies. So that's movement and exercise, laughter and fun. And then another one I'd like to mention to your audience is attitude of gratitude. What this is about is thinking about things throughout the day that you're grateful for or thankful for. And I will admit, even for myself, it takes practice. And your audience, if they're not familiar with this, may be thinking like, well, what good's that going to do me? Well, I'll explain. The attitude of gratitude helps keep that energy vibrational level high. It helps you, again, maintain that focus and maintain your level to a higher functioning level so that you can be grateful for what's going on, even though there's negative things going on in the world. And this is something you can use all the time, not just because we have a pandemic. And if you're not already doing this, a simple way to get started is to either keep some paper or a notebook by your bed. And at the end of the day, just write down 5 things that you're thankful for. They can be people, they can be reactions, they can be actions, they can be material things that you have in your life, and keep it simple. Keep it to 5. You may have more than that. That's fine. Add them the next day or the day after. But write down 5. And if this is challenging for you, I like to suggest things to think about is like, maybe it's shoes on your feet, maybe it's food at your table, maybe it's electricity. It can be the internet. It can be your family and friends, all kinds of things. What resonates with you? Then you read through your list of 5 right before you go to sleep. And you also read through your list when you start the next day. And you go throughout the day and you do a new list the following evening. And you make this a habit day after day. And what my clients have told me, Nan, is anywhere from 30, 60, maybe 90 days, it becomes the mindless habit. And they're so good at doing it that what they recognize is their mind becomes more aware. They begin to see things that they're thankful for that's actually always been there. But when they recognize it in that moment of gratitude, it like lights up a little spark in them and brings in that joy. And the more you get that, the more those endorphins are working, making you feel good, your energy level is high. And so it doesn't, it helps keep you, again, that energy up so that you're upbeat and you're able to deal with more stressful things as they occur.
You know what I love about this is again, it's simple. So people might tend to say, oh yeah, I've heard that, whatever, or I've done that. And it's that people haven't done it long enough or in the right way, because I can remember times in my life where I was depressed or upset or something very, very, debilitating happened. And I didn't want to hear somebody say, be grateful. When my daughter died, I don't want to be grateful. Screw you, right? It's like, and what we have to remember is if you understand states of consciousness, right? When you're at depression or grief, it is one of the lowest states on the scale. And somebody who's up here at happiness and they're saying, just be happy, you can't relate to them and they piss you off, right?
Right.
So these things are important to take in and say, this is my toolbox, right? These are things I can turn to. And if I practice them daily, they're going to change your life in general, not just during the pandemic or during a stressful, challenging time in your life. They're going to overall give you a completely different mental habit. Now, I used to recommend people did a proof journal, and I'll tell you what I've seen in the similar thing. It's a similar thing. At night before you go to bed, you look back through the day. I call it unraveling, right? Unravel the day. Because you're carrying all that energy. You're still thinking about what happened. Oh, I should have said that. Why didn't I do this? And you unravel that energy by looking back through the day, and you write down things that I call it proof that your life is going in the right direction. Things are getting better, or what you're putting out there that you want is happening, or that you're grateful for. But here's the power behind what you're saying, is that you're training your mind to look for positive. you're training your mind to look for those things, so that over time, like you said, people naturally begin to look for that because it's what you've told your mind every single day. Well,
Mhm.
what's good about that? I've spent a lot of years working with people on their self-image in relationship to being worthy of money or love or whatever. And especially with money, easy to see. And when you say, oh, nothing to be grateful for, my whole life sucks, this happened, that happened, I'm sick, I have no job, whatever. If you go, the lady in the grocery store was really nice to me today. And that, something that simple to be grateful for, right? Or like you said, just, hey, I'm here, I'm breathing, the world's changing, it's going to be okay. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm a part of this. And if I raise my vibration, I'm helping the planet, I'm helping my family, I'm helping the people that I touch. But the power is that once you train your mind to not look for the negativity, which is what we're taught in society, to not be filled up with the news. And, most of the news isn't even facts. It's just, this might happen. What if that happens? What if this happens? It's sort of like, let's think about everything that could happen instead of looking at, you know what, this is good, that's good, this is shifting. Because once you get these habits that you're talking about in place, and the other ones that you have in your gift, is that you will naturally be able to walk through stressful times with more ease because you've built this habit. And when you're at a higher level, shit can be happening around you. It doesn't change the fact there's a virus going around right now, but how you feel about it, how you think about it, how you react to it, and what you infuse into your life daily changes. And you'll even see health shifts, right? Physical, mental, and emotional health shifts. So that's a really powerful one. Another thing is that I want to just mention that I used to be resistant to the idea of gratitude because it felt like I was being given an assignment like a bad little girl. Go be grateful. Be grateful even though your life sucks. I know you didn't get what you wanted, but just be grateful. You should be grateful. So if you have that kind of reaction to this stuff, realize that that is a negative habit that you developed from some things that happened, because this is what happens as hypnotherapists and stuff. We understand what gets programmed in there, and that that's not working for your benefit, right? Being like, I'm not doing that because you told me to be grateful. My life sucks and I don't want to be grateful. Do something different, frame it differently, but really implement this. And it's so simple, like you said, just 5 things at the end of the day. The other thing is I've noticed for my clients and students, that becomes a journal of proof of wonderful things that have happened for you that you will forget. And when you're really feeling down, you can pull it out and go back through it and go, oh, that's right, that happened. Wow, that was amazing. And oh, that's right, and then this inspires you, right, to get back into the habit or to lift your spirits again. So I love that one. Yay.
That's a wise point to make. Absolutely. When you're down, to go back through your journal and look at what you've overcome, the struggles that you never thought you would get through. And you realize, oh yeah, that was happening at this time. Yes. And I moved on. And that doesn't even bother me today.
Yeah.
So proof is in the pudding.
And,
But I like the point that you said too about gratitude, because that's true. Some people you've been taught you need to be thankful or grateful for something. So a great point to reframe it, come up with something that works for you along those lines.
well, the resistance, I know you've seen that because of your work, and especially your work with children and behavior, right? That we have things we're resistant to because someone told us we had to do it, or someone, said you should, or something. And we can develop a habit that we're not even aware of. I call it invisible ghosts, right? That are happening inside of us that are like, no, I'm going to spite myself, right? Just because you told me to do that. So it's important to realize that these things are to support you and to lift you up and to give you a lifeline when you feel like you're completely overwhelmed. Because who hasn't been overwhelmed with adjusting to this stuff in the last 6 weeks or so that this has been happening, and the uncertainty that's happening and the structures falling apart on the planet right now. We don't know what it's going to look like in a year or two, not even after the pandemic, right? We don't know what our life is going to be like. And that uncertainty is something we have not been taught. I don't think most people have been taught how to handle. It's more like, do you have your goals? Do you have your plan? Are you working hard? You know, and that's what we've really been given as a toolbox, most of us in life. And now we're talking about, this is an inner toolbox. This is something that doesn't require you to go work if 85 hours a day and, you know, do all these crazy things, but you can lift yourself up. And when you lift yourself up to a higher state in your mind and your emotions, you can access solutions, right? You can be calm and peaceful and remember, oh yes, that's right, I'm going to go for a little walk right now, right? Or I'm going to do some of these other things you talked about. So fantastic.
Yes, Nan, and these are so important right now. It reminds me of something you and I were talking about earlier, healthy eating. And when you change to, if you're not eating healthy, you change to a healthy eating diet, it doesn't happen overnight, but over time, your body gets healthier and healthier and healthier. And that's exactly when we're training our mind to think of the positive things and to go with the flow, then we are able to deal with the unknown. I believe, especially in the Western society, we think about expectations. We're taught goals, expectations. Things are supposed to come out like I expected it to, you know, or close to that. Well, that's not going to happen with this pandemic. We're going to be lucky, you know, if you get some of what you're used to back again, you know, and are fortunate. Let me put it that way, fortunate. So this will help you learn to deal with the unknown and not have um, not rely on expectations to get you through.
I don't know if you've noticed it, but I think it's been happening. Well, time is speeding up. That's a scientific fact now. We used to decades ago go, gosh, it sure seemed like time goes fast. Now we know it is. Everything is sped up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also the fact that we have the ability to shift so quickly in the moment. And when you shift out of some of these low states of fear or desperation or guilt or shame, you're not as heavy. It's literally, the energy isn't as heavy. You feel lighter and you can calmly move through it. You rise, the state of trust is up there right before you move into acceptance, right before you move into compassion and forgiveness and harmony, is willingness and trust, right? And
Mm-hmm.
trust isn't based on goals. It's not based on proof. It's not based on guarantees. It's based on an inner state. And what this is going to do is give you access to being able to just trust things are going to unfold. I don't know how, but I'm going to be in the moment and take it step by step. And I think the gratitude, even the physical, right? Moving your body brings you into the moment, reconnects you to your body. Maybe you have a separation from your body because you're sick or you're overweight or you're not happy with your body for some reason that you've been told. And this is going to help your immune system, because overall, your mental state and your emotional state have an enormous impact on your physical state.
Yes, it does. And you reminded me of something else. This is a holistic approach. It's mind, body, and spirit. And even though we didn't touch on it, we talk about spirituality and faith. And then the mind and body is the movement, exercise, to eat right, take care of ourselves is also part of this. So gives us that overall balance so that we can go into acceptance for what it is and move on up into trust for what it is. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. So do you have any more stories about you or your clients and how some of these things have helped them through challenging times?
Well, I have a particular client that she's that's come to mind. She's not necessarily these tools, but I did work with her on her mental state. I'll explain. She's very independent, and she had been in a car accident, and she had not received any physical damage, but she was traumatized mentally so much that she lived alone, but she could no longer drive herself anywhere. She had to rely on friends and family or would cancel appointments. And so it got to where she really felt helpless. And so she reached out to me. And Nan, just working with her 3 sessions on doing some inner work and helping her get to On the outside, it seems like it's just the automobile trauma, but helping her get to the trauma that occurred prior to the automobile trauma and remove that. In 3 sessions, she was able to drive again. And when I followed up with her in 30 days, she said that she had shifted completely out of the fear and was confident and courageously driving again as if nothing had happened. So that's the type of work I like to do for people, help them find solutions for whatever the issue or what maybe we call a problem or trauma it is. And again, to help people function at their best. That's what you do. That's what I do. That's what we want to help up level this planet.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think it's important to understand something you mentioned, the trauma that happened before the accident. There isn't anything that happens to your body that didn't already start in some other part in your mind, with a belief, with a thought process, with a failure you can't let go of, with a sense of being betrayed. We gather these things throughout our lives, and they become the structure through which we experience and express, right, in our lives. And so there's always a trauma or something inside that is the deeper issue. And so when you have something like this, where it's obvious, why would you want to drive? You had this horrible accident, and there might be, physical challenges to recover from. And yet you have the opportunity to actually go deeper. When you're in a crisis situation, you will most likely find, discover, release, transform a trauma that's been affecting your life in many, many ways. We have these invisible, unknown, subconscious, and sometimes become conscious, but a lot of them are subconscious, which we know as hypnotherapists. We go in there and you find this stuff that's, my dad left when I was 4 and it still think it's my fault and therefore I have no relationship. I mean, this stuff's very real. And people can have almost instant healing in hypnosis sessions. And you get to combine that with all of your clinical work, as well as your ability to understand behavior and to help give people these tools so that they almost self-adjust, right? After the sessions, and then with the tools you give them, they get to find a better life after that. And I think that that's the vision that we all need to hold on to stop listening to the negativity, be informed, know what you need to do. Don't go to the store or whatever. I can't go to the store. I'm over 50 here where I live. You got to take care of yourself, but then don't watch the news. You don't need to be informed 24 hours a day about all the horrible stuff that could happen or might happen. To be honest, there's less death than heart disease. There's many other things that are still killing more people right now than this pandemic, but we're so focused on it. And it makes you feel trapped, right? The uncertainty and the inability to fix it. We can't fix a global pandemic, one of us, but you can shift what's going on inside of you, how you react to it, what you do. And I know that most people have someone they love. You have children, you have spouses, you have family, you have somebody you care about. Or maybe you're really empathic and you just love the world and you want the world to heal and you feel for people going through this fear. Well, here's the best thing you can possibly do, right? Is lift yourself up out of this and find those inner issues that have been creating challenges in your life maybe you didn't even know were happening.
Yes, you're correct. One of the things you brought up was, reminded me that so many people want to, and at least in Western society, want to do the blame game. And with the pandemic, it's the responsibility of the pandemic. It's not their responsibility. What I would like to urge here is no matter what's going on, you've got to take responsibility, such as if you're one of the ones who are informed not to go to the store because you may be more susceptible to getting the COVID-19, then don't go. If children may be catching something, then don't take your children. But take responsibility for what you can do, because that's part of the equation. It's not somebody else did this to you, and it's not that you have, because this is going on, you absolutely have no control. Let me reword that. You absolutely don't have control over anything, but sometimes we think we do. So But you certainly we don't have control over the pandemic, but what we do know is what others have informed us of at this point in time. They're doing the best that they can do too. We know what to avoid and how to be cautious, or maybe change our diet so we can eat healthier, and implement things like movement and exercise so we can be healthier. Anything to help us combat the virus.
Well, and you talk about, what do you feed yourself, or you talk about moving your body, right? Or you talk about developing gratitude, but we have to remember, we feed our mind. If you watch the news, if you worry, if you stress,
Mm-hmm.
my mom's one of those people who can't let something go. So it's like, we used to call it, it's in her craw, like a lobster, it's like, or something, like she gets it and she just thinks over and over and over and over and over. And this is not uncommon. And the ability for you to manage your mind, I call it master your mind, learn how to do that. I think that's one of the reasons we're here, is to rise above this news and this trauma. And oh no, like I said, I used to feel like it just, oh no, what's going to happen today to knock me over? Instead, if you do these simple things and work with someone like Cathy, the depth that you find, you're able to release and have a lighter perspective on life, right? I really, one of my absolute favorite things I've ever learned is hypnotherapy. I know that there's some people who don't get it and think it's horrible, and some people think you're going to mind control them and all this stuff. But the reality is it's one of the most powerful tools I've ever seen, because the person, right, you guide them and they remember, they experience. And so the depth of which what happens after a session with you, right, is that they can't deny what they've just realized, or what they felt, or what they let go of, because it happened inside of them. It's their personal experience. Do you share a little bit about, like, if you have another story, or just how all of your tools plus this one really come together to give people like almost a secret key, to go in and unlock doors that have been locked for a long time? Because, when we have a trauma, most of them happen in childhood, right? Like for me, the first time that I got in trouble as a kid, I don't know what it was, but I didn't like that lack of love. I didn't want this person who loved me to take the love away. So my decision was, I'm going to be the best little girl, and I'm going to do whatever they want, and I'm going to work really hard, and I'm going to. So I spent my life being a people pleaser, for many, many decades. And until you unlock that door and understand why you have this habit, or why you have this fear, and then you can release it, because you realize, oh, okay, that's not truth. That's just something that I took on. So share a little bit more about how this is energy. May not sound like energy medicine to you. It's not Reiki, and it's not quantum touch, and it's not all these other things, or light body work like I do, or weaving, but it is, because you're shifting your energy and unlocking things. I call them bonds, right? It's almost like these things to become like that, and you unlock that and you free energy, and suddenly you have clarity, energy, ideas, creativity, confidence. I know you talk a lot about joyful, prosperous, and confident, and those are things everybody wants. So can you share anything else about how these things will give you that? Could be instantly, could take a little while, but these are tools that work.
Yes, absolutely. Most everything that the tools I use are on what I consider different levels of strength. And some people need lower levels is fine, and they attain what they need to attain, or they need the higher level, which is maybe hypnotherapy. And in hypnotherapy, I want to remind your audience that you're never going to do anything you don't want to do. That's already built in your system. So if I was to tell you to do something that you don't want to do, you're not going to do it. So it's really safe. But what it does is it helps, when I work with it, it helps the person find what is their stuck point, such as going back into childhood, and maybe your parents told you, maybe somebody wants to eat healthier, but they can't because their parents always told them to eat the vegetables, and they despise their parents for telling them to eat there you go, for eating their vegetables all the time. And so it could be something as simple as that. Okay, oh yeah, my parents told me to eat vegetables. Oh, that's silly. I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to keep that anymore. It's like making an agreement with the past that you hang on to, and you're unconsciously hanging on to it. Most people are not aware of these agreements they've made. Like, for instance, one could be you, as a teenager, you were in this great relationship, and then you had this massive breakup. Maybe he broke up or she broke up with you and broke your heart. And you said, well, I'm never, ever going to get close to anybody again. You made an agreement that you filed away back there in that unconscious, and it could interrupt your relationships where they're not close. You always wonder, why can't I have a close relationship? Well, it may be filed away back in there. That's what I call the stronger strength of what some people come to me for and what we need to do. But on the other hand, especially probably with people I've seen that are younger, simple things such as introducing them to things that they're not aware of. And most of them can be in these tools. Like, I also have one called affirmations or positive mantras. And those are just simple things where, like, maybe you can stand in front of you. I believe in that old adage, you are what you think you are. So when you think that, keep that in mind. And let's say somebody comes to me and I realize that person doesn't feel worthy. So I explain how this works. You take the negative statement, I am not worthy, and change it into a positive statement, I am worthy. Present tense, as if it's happening right now. And then what I usually get back as a rebuttal is, well, I can't say that. I don't believe it. Of course you don't. That's why we're doing this. So I tell them, well, say it anyway. Fake it till you make it. So, and the best way to say it is to practice it a minimum of 3 times in front of the mirror every day. I've had students practice things such as test taking skills, anxiety with affirmations. I've just given them, we've worked on what would fit them, and they agreed to it, and they would go home and practice in front of the mirror with affirmations, and they changed within 7 days. Their attitude, their confidence, their courage. I was like, wow, this is really for real. So what I'm saying is, we all do different parts. We all bring different parts to the energy field. And it doesn't matter what intensity or what we're working with, as long as it's what you need.
Yeah.
If we're bringing you what you need, then it's going to make a difference. What I've recognized is even the youngins, they get into a habitual pattern of doing certain behaviors. And sometimes that's just fine. That's working. But when they're not working, you've got to break that pattern up. And it can be something such as simple as awareness, introducing ideas, helping them see something, just being their mentor, or going into doing some hypnosis with them and going deeper and helping them understand. So
Yeah,
does that answer your question?
Oh yeah, no, I love it, because there's a lot of doubt, there's a lot of resistance, and it comes from a lot of our inner patterns, or maybe, oh, I've tried that, it didn't work, and things like that. And so what I love is the tips that you give. It helps you raise up out of some of that resistance, and then these other tools will work. And like you said, hypnosis can take you deep in, and you'll discover those patterns, and things will shift internally, and then they'll start to show up in your life. And then if you reinforce them, because think about it, if you worry 4 hours a day, and you only spend 5 minutes a day thinking positive, you have to look at the percentage of energy that you're injecting into the field, into yourself, into the world. Then it's going to be weighted on that. But if you take this, like you said, and even just add a little bit, even if your mind's going, yeah, right, yeah, sure, whatever, there's has to be a point of tipping, and depending on the belief you put into it. So what I love about this is bringing all these different healers and amazing professionals to you, like Cathy, is that when you resonate with Cathy, if you work with her, you believe she can help you, that alone is going to open your field for much deeper transformation. And the tools, you might go in and say, well, I don't know if this will work, but I'm giving it a try. That's okay too. I started some of the most powerful experiences of my life in the back row going like, yeah, I don't know if I believe this. And that's okay. In fact, it's better to accept, oh, I'm feeling really resistant. Oh, I think this is stupid. When you accept it, you automatically raise up your vibration, right? Oh, okay, this is what I'm doing right now. Well, how about I try this too? So, well, tell us more about your gift and also your website and your Facebook page. And we'll make sure people get the gift and you tell us what they're going to get.
I'd love to do that. May I say something though, a message to
Yes.
your viewers before we end? Is because of the pandemic, I want them to realize that you and I realize this, the pandemic's for real. We're not trying to discount their struggles or challenges. And both Nan and I, our hearts go out to you if you've gone through the virus, if you have a loved one going through the virus, and if, heaven forbid, but somebody passed away because of the virus, our hearts are there with you. But I do want to tell most of it, your viewers, that the majority of us are going to get through this. And so what's important is not to surrender to the COVID-19. Look for things so that you can be inspired. How can you change your coping skills so that you can move through fear and stress? If you're a parent, what type of role modeling are you doing for your children right now? Because they're learning from you, whether they demonstrate that or not. It's in their mind, and you want to show them actions to help them be more resilient, courage, confidence. And who do you get to be, audience? Who do you get to be as we move through this ordeal? And who do you get to be as you transform through this pandemic and move through this lifetime transformation? Because that's what it is. It is a lifetime transformation for us. But to help you stay out of the fear, look for the shimmer of light through the tunnel. Find the shimmer of light and then share this. I encourage everybody to share this with your friends, your family, so that they can see that shimmer of light too. And stay out of that fear so that we can all move through this in a more healthier way. So with that said, my gift is a free clarity chat with me. And then Nan has the link, I believe, on her website or on the page she sent out today. And you'll also get a pocket guide to the 10 essential tools to help you manage your mind, which you can use all the time. As Nan suggested, it does help you train your mind the more you practice and do over time, and it becomes what I call the mindless habit. And it's a good mindless habit to have so that it can keep your energy level and vibration up. And I think that's it. Nan, is there something I've forgotten?
Your website?
Oh, it's Cathy, Cathys with a C, Cathy Herring, and herring's like the fish. So it's CATHYHERRING.com. I also have a Facebook page, which I think the link's been provided to you, and it's called the Dream Life Tribe. So come join me. We'd love to have you.
I love that. Dream life. And I love what you said in your message, to realize that we're really almost in a cocoon. It's like a metamorphosis, isn't it? It's like we're going through this tunnel. We've been sent. One of the other people I interviewed said, he heard someone say, if this is like your mother told you to go to your room and think about what you've done. The whole pandemic, right? Mother Earth said, okay, all of you go to your room, think about what you've done. And I thought, well, it's funny, but it's true in the sense that not that we're all bad and we're all wrong, but our society has gotten out of balance. Our priorities have gotten out of balance. And now we get to spend more time with family. Things have slowed down. People can't work as hard and be as stressed. I think that our inner priorities are shifting. And realize that when you go through a metamorphosis, you lose your form. The caterpillar melts into liquid. He doesn't know his shape or form. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't have his goals of climbing and eating anymore. And he's transforming into what's going to be the next thing, which for them is a butterfly that can fly and is beautiful and all of that. This is what we're doing. We have an opportunity to create the planet to transform ourselves, to go, yeah, I've been too stressed. I've been too worked too hard. I mean, I've been a workaholic most of my life, and I'm grateful for some of the not so pleasant things that have happened in my life that have made me slow down already and get a richer life. So really unplug, use these tools that Cathy's given you, get her toolbox of 10 essential things you can do every day. And then we were talking before, this isn't something like do them once, bam, everything's great, let's run. This is reality. Do them every day. They're simple, they're easy, integrate them into your habits. Then you can be sitting getting bad news in the kitchen, and all of a sudden, you know, okay, I know what to do, right? I can do this, or you've already done it, because we have a chance to create the new world. We can come out of this and go right back to the crazy way the world was, or we can come out of this and say, I'm going to live a different life. I'm going to be more present. I'm going to be more grateful. I'm going to master my mind. I'm going to know how to manage this. And maybe you're going to discover there's something completely different that you want to do, or how you want to be in the world. So wonderful. Thank you. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you'd like to share before we close?
No, but I love that. I'd love to share that I'm so grateful that I'm on this show. I mean, I didn't need to put that word in there, but no, I'm glad to be a part of this. This is a great mission, and our aim is to help us all get through this as unscathed as possible, and to realize that our expectations may be holding us back. We may need to shift out of that and be more accepting of what's lying ahead, and just go with it. Ride the roller coaster.
Ride the roller coaster. Wow. There was this amazing movie that just reminded me of, I think it was called Parenthood. It had Steve Martin in it.
Uh-huh.
And it was all these different parents and all these different family dramas that were intersecting, but he played a very stressed out dad. He was like, oh, I need rules. And his wife was the opposite. She just went with the flow and everything. And there was this whole scene at the end where she was laughing because everything was going wrong and he was stressing out, and they made it look like he was on a roller coaster. Right? He was like, oh, and he felt like he was out of control because he was stressed. And he kept looking at his wife, and she's laughing and laughing, you know. And all of a sudden he just realized, let go, you know, stop trying to control it. Go with the flow. Look, at this person's enjoying the same thing you're freaking out about. And that's the cool thing about learning, that you are the master of your mind. I used to say, you're the only one in there thinking. I mean, my dad used to be in there. My ex-husband was in there. I had to get them out. But in reality, you're the one that gets to choose. And this is, again, something most of us were never taught. And I hope that from this, you're given more tools, but also the understanding that you are in control inside of you, and you can shift things regardless of what's happened, regardless of what is happening, that this is energy. And I don't really like the phrase, this too shall pass, because it almost sounds like just grit your teeth and bear it. But everything changes. That's a certainty.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go through this, but why not allow it to shift you into becoming a grateful being no matter what's happening? I know that I had a lot of agendas that I had to do, and people have the agendas, and then, well, I got to get this done. And then we thought it was going to be a little bit of time, and now it's longer, and now we don't know how long it's going to be. And all of a sudden, all those pushing agendas have to just start to chill. What does that give us? A break. We used to have a lifestyle where we were bored. When was the last time you were bored? You know, we don't have time to be bored anymore. And I think
Right.
it's kind of good. I realized when I say, you know, I wish I was bored, like when I was a kid, you know, just go entertain yourself kind of thing, because you move through that phase into starting to be creative and thinking outside the box and letting go and being grateful. So thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful we met. And the 3 or 4 times that we've had an opportunity to share, we were like an hour and a half talking before this interview. And
Yeah.
for the world, the work that you're bringing to the world, and the ability to see these things and to help people get through their issues. So make sure that you check out Cathy's special gift, and go ahead and get the chat with her. I think it's like 20 minutes, right?
Right.
And
And it's free, absolutely free.
100% free. And you can see Cathy's a super nice, super sweet lady. She's not going to like hard sell you, like, I tell you what you have to do. You're going to get a beautiful opportunity. And right now, what a beautiful thing to do while you're at home, right? You're just at home.
Mm-hmm.
You have a little bit of time, take a moment to yourself, get some advice and some beautiful insight, and do these beautiful tools, as well as the 10 essential ways to do that. Thank you so much, honey. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Nan. It's been an honor.
So thank you, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this Bliss Life Global Healing Series on energy medicine. And make sure, like I said, to let us know if you don't have a way of getting the links, if you need any help, and if you want to get a hold of Cathy. Take care of yourself first. I know it's really hard. I'm like, boy, I'm the one that needs that advice a lot. But if you do, then you can be the one that brings these tools. You can even play with your children or your spouse if they're in a lot of fear or if they are sick. I have had a client who's been through this. Most people are going to survive. The statistics that you hear on the news aren't real. We've had about 14,000 deaths compared to 100,000 recoveries, or some proportion like that. So there's still other things that like heart disease that are killing way more people. So relieve your stress. Use these tools to let go of that fear that's really consumed a lot of us. Or if you're seeing this later and you're really noticing you're in a challenging situation yourself, remember your state, your energy can be shifted. And it doesn't require money. It doesn't require doctors. It doesn't require travel. It doesn't require all those things. They can help, but you're the one inside of there that can say, today I'm going to be grateful. Today I'm going to move my body. Today I'm going to look at the world through a whole new perspective. And then thank you, because you will be changing the planet and helping us too. So we'll see you next time. Namaste. Have a beautiful and blessed day.